Welcome, everyone, to the Coffee Talk podcast number 26. We're halfway. Wow, is this halfway to a year?
Yeah.
It's an interesting. That's an interesting question. Is this actually half a year?
26 out of 52. Yes. That's
well, right, but I think we skipped 1 week, didn't we?
Oh yeah.
I don't remember if we made it up, so we might actually
right.
be beyond that. So anyway, yeah. Welcome to all things PoE, here and forever. You're stuck with us.
Oh no.
Can't go anywhere. That's it. So yeah, what's been going on in the Niggy solo self-found?
I died, I think. Was that between?
If it was facepalm, I think it happened like Saturday before last podcast.
Oh, that was before last podcast.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I've been playing Skelly Mages and Specters.
Ooh.
Yeah, they had that.
Interesting.
Oh. On that note, we had our first build of the week.
We did. That's right. So I it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know what you think when are you okay? Just talking about it just made you upset.
I swallowed and exhaled at the same time.
Okay, well, learn to human. But no, it's interesting when I look at those things, and I always like to look at the build and some of the stuff before I look at any comments about it. And I always laugh when the first thing that I think is the top comment, everywhere. And somebody was like, so you picked a generic build that's been done a million times. And that was kind of my response, because I was expecting something kind of very unique, and they just kind of went with an Auramancer, or I don't know, Minion Mancer.
I don't know. I think there's a good twist on it. It was with curses. It was with the cursed chest. That's not something you see very often. And we haven't really, this is the first, you have to remember that not everyone playing PoE watches Twitch all the time and
true
and all that. So Skelly Mancers that's not something that's been done a lot before. So it's quite new.
They just buff.
Yeah,
because they just buff skeletons, right?
Exactly.
I guess. Yeah. I don't know. It's just,
so it hasn't really been showcased before.
Okay. I think it's mostly that in the past they've picked some truly remarkably, in my opinion, stupid builds. So I'm like, whenever they pick something that's like generic and well known a little bit, I mean, I understand it's a twist on it, and I appreciate that, because it tends to be how I like to do things too. I'm just saying, I'm always like, I don't know, that's fine. It was just a little random to me. I didn't think it was bad. I just was confused. I thought they would be. I have no idea. Like that.
Well, okay. Let's say that they start working on the video like a little over a week before then. Before everyone's showing it on Reddit and everywhere, and Skellymancer. So a week later, everyone knows what Skellymancer is. But at the time, it seemed quite kind of unique and cool.
Well, but to me, that's not the interesting part of the build, though, right? Like, that's not the part that makes the build different. The part that makes the build different is he's running 7 auras, doing a bunch of curses.
Yeah,
that's like the core part of the build, and it's just a minion support character. With this time he's got skeletons, but it could have been golems, it could have been specters, it could have been.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I think it's fine. I totally think it's fine to do that. It's just there have been times in the past when there have been ridiculously strong builds, and they've overlooked them to pick the fire Herald of Ash fire fizz build. Do you remember that build? And that it wasn't even Oro's flicker. It was like, I don't even remember. I just remember being like, how did they settle on this build? So
I think they just go through the PoE forums, and they check out different builds, and this looks cool.
Right. Yeah.
And he's put a lot of effort into it. I don't think they put too much. Well, I think they want to pick some nice builds, but They don't.
It's just
they don't seem to be. They don't need to impress all us veterans. That's not what they're looking to do.
That's fair. I just I just think at some point people want, whether or not they realize it, they want consistency in things, right? Because and some of the things you've said are things that are said in the past when people raise objections. That people will be like, well, they put a lot of effort into the build guide. Well, let me tell you, there's some fucking build guides out there where it looks like it's a movie. Or so, like they put in like what feels like 50 hours of like graphic design work into the icons of the phone. And that doesn't get featured ever. So it's like, okay, anyway, that's fine. I'm not here to judge too harshly, because it is sort of, it's one person picking it. I get that. But speaking, okay, but we can stay on this topic, but at the same time we can talk about subjective things. They picked the rewards for the best dressed. Did that happen before the last podcast? I don't think so. I think that happened this week, didn't it?
I think it happened this week.
Okay.
I saw it happened, but I actually didn't see who won or anything. I haven't looked into it at all.
Yeah. Where is... I'm trying to find it here. Oh, God. This is the problem when you sort by the top threads on Reddit. Oh, no. And every thread's purple because you've read them all. Like, the best. No, there's no best here. Okay. Well, I'll try to find the thread. Let's see when they announced it. I'll go on the Path of Exalt forums. But so, I don't know what you thought. I know you're not an MTX person. Let's see. Winners of the best dressed. Yeah, it happened on. Yeah, it's right. It happened on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it was after the podcast. Good. Time. So anyway, the top guy looks like.
Well, I don't even.
He looks like a World of Warcraft character. That's how I would describe it. Which I don't think there's anything wrong with that. As you and I have talked about in the past on a previous podcast, that's kind of the direction it's going a little bit in terms of the art. We're like trending towards World of Warcraft in a lot of respects.
Yeah. I'm trying to find this post.
It's so if you go to forum and then announcements, it is the fourth one down.
Oh, okay, that's a good idea. Let me just find it.
That's the best way to find it.
So wait, while I find this, say it again. What you were saying?
So we're just trending towards World of Warcraft in terms of the MTX and the way characters look.
The well-dressed. Okay.
Yeah.
Top 3. Oh, so the grand prize winner was this like purple guy?
Purple and ice skull guy, yeah.
He does look look pretty cool, but
yeah.
It's kind of
anyway, art is subjective. Yeah. Art is subjective. So I didn't expect to win personally. Although, I have to say...
I like the natural one in there.
Which one? The top one? Several of the natural ones I thought looked really nice.
Yeah, I think all of them looked really nice.
Yeah, I don't really like the third one. Third one is... I don't know. But doesn't seem like there's much going on. But anyway, it's clean. It's one of these things where I'm always a little surprised because... I am always like, some of these I would never pick, and I tend to look through the threads because I'm curious.
Yeah.
And there are some ones that are stunning. The amount of like the way it's consistent and the way it all goes together, and like those don't get picked.
I think that's. I don't know. I don't think that's fair to say about the top ones here. Like they're consistent. I think.
Which in the natural or the premium?
Both.
Are you talking about natural or premium?
Both.
Okay. I mean, I would say the third one is pretty interesting and consistent. Rayvon of the premium.
Yeah, no, that looks really nice. You don't think the other ones?
I mean,
they are definitely very flashy, but I think that's more of a.
Yeah.
Like, but the problem is you're looking at these
Right. But you're looking at these by themselves.
Yeah.
Right. If you look through the first, say, 30 pages of the thread, there's some very interesting submissions.
Oh, sure.
So it's like, I don't know. I mean, look, maybe I'm wrong. Okay, but
Well, you would just be like, let's say you were on a panel of judges, you would just score them differently. Then
right.
maybe that would like alter the outcome. That doesn't
Sure.
mean anyone's wrong or anyone's right. It's just
Yeah. Although there's some very consistent things that happen. There's almost always one really stupid one picked. No offense to anyone with GGG, but they like pick the arcane pack. Somebody literally just has an MTX armor set on and they won. No other MTX on. And then on top of that, if you have any unique or rare MTX like skin transfers and stuff, you almost invariably never win. I've never seen anyone with a rare, you know, I mean, I guess because they're like, that's unfair, but like it's almost like they should put in submission, don't use something that's very rare because we will disqualify you. Because they don't. I mean, I've never.
But it's okay to put something in that costs a ton of money, though, right? It's like, but
yes,
okay,
as
so
long as
if
everyone can buy it, yeah. But like,
well, but that's like one is time and commitment to the game. The other one is how much money you have.
Sure. I mean, I think they're kind of interchangeable, but like you say the rare, like I have both of the pilgrim hats. I saw a bunch of actually really interesting characters with pilgrim hats on. No one with a pilgrim hat because that's a very rare. Because you had to buy that in like 2013. No one with Itziri horns, right? Because that's a rare item. No one with any alternate art.
Oh, there's one guy in top 20 with the Alpha Hell helmet.
Where in the
Eric ERECPYLE in the top 20 of natural.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. So I missed one. So there you go. Yeah. So anyway, it's just you know.
Well,
it's fine.
It probably doesn't satisfy what you think is necessary.
Well, I don't think I'm the only one. There was a lot of interesting responses in there. And now I guess people would say Reddit doesn't.
But again, it's all of this is subjective, and we all have different opinions, right? Their panel might just be more inclined to like enjoy these kind of the same thing, right? Who's picking these? Is it the same people who are designing them? Probably.
Okay. Yeah.
And they have a way of like they enjoy these kind of aesthetics or looks, and that's what they favor. You can't like if not, then they have to like put down like a set of things that they're looking for in that for you to, and then you have to like meet a requirement of this and that, and then you have to be measured on all those, and okay, then we can be all objective about it, but.
Well, right, but so okay, but the way you're sort of presenting it's like, well, they should take it seriously is how I would TLDR what you said, and I know that's maybe not exactly what you meant, but my response is yes, they should take it seriously. To me, it's like build of the week. I've always had a problem with build of the week because it's such an opaque, odd process, and yet it's such a huge, you know, to various people, it's a huge deal if your build is featured. Yeah, so
it is. I think they want to keep it so that everyone feels as they have a chance. Because if you make it too, if everything is too consistent, even like if there are too many like things you have to check off on a list, then people just start checking things on a list, right? And
what's wrong with that? Isn't that like how the criteria of everything in life happens?
Well, like I mean, it might discourage. The thing is, it discourages maybe newcomers that would like to post their build, and maybe.
But okay, but wouldn't you say then it in fact encourages them to do it in a way that works for the community, right? Like that's sort of the point of having a standard. There's a standard by which we would, you know.
I think there are pros and cons with both approaches.
Okay.
Like they might just not. I don't know. I think it's okay if they don't want the same people posting the same amazing guys every time, right?
Sure, but
and then because if you can go in and objectively say this is the best guide out there, then you would also be able to say, well, this should be featured. And if you don't, then you're breaking the rules of your own criteria, and you can't feature some other like.
Okay, fine. But my problem is when they feature something that is clearly lacking, right? This is the problem. It's not that I needs to be among the super elite that only Moore's his friends. Or something. No, it's nothing to do with that. It's about when I look at it and I go, this looks like it took 5 minutes to put together. And I'll tell you right now, I completely stopped participating in the build submission process because it just seems like, I don't know, pointless. The forums are organized so poorly, like it had to be dealt with by somebody in the community putting together like a codex for all the builds. Like there was not a lot of support for it, and so I don't know. They make it what it is based on their own stuff. I mean, they used to pick interesting build. Well, I don't know.
I don't think that's entirely fair because I think they still have. Any like if season 6 was the last one before this as well, right? There are interesting builds in there. I definitely remember seeing some. I just saw the. So like there's always good and bad in there.
Okay, that's fine. I don't want to. I think it says a lot more about the person picking them than it says about the actual PoE community. If you want my 2 cents, because there's
that could be true.
Sometimes they're like, well, this build was featured on Reddit, so we don't need to feature it. But then they pick a build that was on Reddit. So then I'm like, what's going on here?
Okay.
And then there's something that's truly insane and they don't ever feature, did they ever feature the Minion Arrow build?
Yeah.
Was that actually eventually featured? I mean, I think there was like a big outcry about it.
No, it was featured.
Okay. So, I don't know. I did not.
I can. Okay, if there's, because you probably know this better than me, whether or not there's been like outcry about these things. Like you pay more attention to that. I just look and then I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
I'm a little bit more carefree when it comes to that.
No, yeah, and I don't want to. I'm not saying.
But no, because if this is actually a thing that a lot of people in the community feel like is too inconsistent and so on and such, well, maybe they should make it more consistent and be a little bit more clear. You could sell me on that.
Yeah. I don't know. This particular build did not blow my socks off. After having been a PoE player and paying attention to builds, this is not something that I was like. Now the heavy strike Starforge
it wasn't
build,
really a wow factor coming into the first one. No, I would agree on that. No.
And there was a build featured on Reddit in the last couple of days. This heavy strike Starforge build.
Yeah.
Now to me, that's a wow build, because yes, I understand it has a very rare item, but he's still using fucking heavy strike.
Yeah.
So, and people have talked about, oh my god, 400% heavy strike or whatever, but there he is actually doing it and moving on things. But maybe that's not interesting in terms of there's no, there's not interesting tree creation to it. Anyway,
that seems less interesting to me because it's you stack all the OP things together, or not the OP, all the very strong things together. Right. And you just dump everything into like a hard hitting. But when you look at it though, like you see it chunk an 1/8 of Shaper's health away. That is right. That's what you're hoping for at least, and then you see it come true, which is that is actually pretty cool.
The only reason I rate it higher is because we didn't have 5 straight leagues of heavy strike. Yeah. Whereas we've had 5 straight leagues of Necromancer. So that's true. I don't really know what's there interesting to feature about it. Everyone knows the Necromancer is good, and you could put it with literally just about anything, and it's going to be fine. Now, I mean, if they'd come along in this same exact build, this sort of skeleton whatever build was like, I don't know, with an Inquisitor, and is that the one with the consecrated ground?
Yeah,
is Inquisitor. Yeah, and so like the minions could never die or something. Because of that, like they somehow consecrate. They like made it do 1,000% healing instead of 200%, whatever the fuck. To me, that's really interesting, because that's not the typical way to be doing it. So, I feel like there's some of that should go on, and I feel like
you're looking for a little bit more of what makes PoE.
Right, exactly. Like
I think that's a fair point, especially since it's the first. Like this was the first one, and it's
after a long break.
Felt kind of, You're hoping for a little bit more. I don't know, just a little bit more interesting. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I even would have taken,
No,
especially I know it's right now. I would have taken Baron SRS right.
Oh, we have had Baron things featured on the. I'm pretty sure it's been like a Baron build featured in the past.
Have we? I don't think Build of the Week it came out when Baron has come out.
Sure.
Baron came out.
I thought there was like a Baron. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it was like a Baron zombie or something. Maybe it's just me. I might have just mistaken like a YouTube video for Build of the Week.
Yeah, 2.6 was introduced to the game. That's Breach, isn't it? So Baron was introduced in 2.6. Oh no, Legacy.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Oh.
So I mean, I don't know when.
I've probably just seen a YouTube video with it then.
Yeah, well, there's tons of people using it, obviously. Anyway,
well, yeah.
So I don't want to go.
No.
Whatever. I actually had much more problem with the best dressed thing because, in the past, so when they had the best dressed, same sort of thing to be an exile last time, everyone who won did not have a supporter pack. Sorry, I should say, not a single person with an expensive supporter pack won a prize, and there was a lot of conspiracy theories about what was going on with that. And then because the community voted on it, right? So I don't think people knew about it, but people turned off their supporter packs. So since the community would look and say, "Oh, this guy's on a supporter pack. That's so insane," he's able to put together this stuff. So then the people who won did not have supporter packs and turned on that you could see them on their account. So I'm assuming that's why they took away the ability to vote for the community to vote on them. Because it's one thing if they pick 50 things and then let the community vote, and whatever the community votes, it is what it is. I'm fine with that personally, but it's them picking it. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just a little burp.
Oh. You're having some problems over there. Breathing, drinking.
I've been drinking a lot of coffee today.
Okay. Anyway, I think it's it's nice that they do this type of stuff. I don't know. I like getting a little more excited about some of the stuff, and it just sometimes it feels like it's rushed a bit. Is what I would say. Not necessarily about the best dressed, about the build of the week. It feels like occasionally they don't know, or I don't know. Maybe we don't know enough about the process. I hate to be that person where it's like I just assume that they don't spend much time on it. In terms of the selection process. Maybe that's unfair of me.
I don't know.
When there was a heated back and forth amongst 20 people in the office amongst 5 builds, which to pick, that would let me know, okay, well, so then I don't agree with their decision, but there was at least discussion about it. So yeah. Anyway, I think I'm excited to see this best dressed guy as an exile. I think that.
Is that going to be an exile?
I think they said
that's gonna be interesting. This
immortalized the Path of Exile as a rogue exile. He looks so fucking. I'm sorry. To me, it looks stupid.
And that guy's gonna be following you around. Okay. Maybe they had like a vision for it of what they wanted it to look like already, or something in mind.
I guess so. Yeah.
Interesting.
I wish they would have an exile that was 50% larger than normal exiles, like it has every single demi item on. I think that'd be interesting. You see a huge guy rolling around, but they'll never do anything like that.
I don't know. Maybe not.
But yeah, purple mace man. So like I'm being chased by
it's like King. Chaos something. This to me feels like some Pale Council stuff.
Okay.
It definitely fits, right? The theme is there. Like it looks like something that will come out of that area. Maybe do some chaos damage or something. I don't know.
Right.
I mean, you can sell it for sure.
Okay, that's fine. We could just end on that. And so the I gotta say, I know people are. I don't want people to get super salty. But we have had a very continuous sort of deluge of trade posts about all sorts of things. It does seem interesting to me, which is something we haven't really talked about, I don't think.
Okay.
In regards to that, is how I guess the API we mentioned it briefly as a possible thing, but it seems like very like cemented as a problem is that the API is slow or GGG has limited it because there's so many requests happening.
Yeah.
So some I was talking to somebody when I was playing the other day, and they were saying that they listed an item at a reasonable price, sold it, or maybe it was currency, I don't remember, and they got whispers for 20 minutes until they put D&D on. So
this I heard as well was one of the key issues.
Okay.
Like the constant whispers after you had sold something.
Right. And so I know we talked about how scaling at some point what works for 20,000 people might not work for 100,000, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And maybe desync is a candidate for something like that, or I don't know what other systems, but I'm really curious what the long-term plan is then, because if the I thought the whole point of API was that it scaled. That was like the point of it.
I don't know.
Because it's
just
no,
the API grab. Was more that you can pick. So instead of the forum scrapers literally scraping the entire forum and going through everything every time, you can just pick the thing out of the constant stream of things, right? You can just I want that thing.
Right.
So I think that was more the thing that they wanted to alleviate, just the whole forum scraping stuff.
Okay. So I mean, I guess I don't really know.
Maybe it's just like the thing is like I don't understand the system well enough to really like speak on it too well, but one could assume that they're just running into the same problem again, just with a higher volume of players, right? Where there's just too many requests coming in. Because it's the same thing with the forum scraper, right? There's just a request for the entire thing. Now you're more specific, but there's just somewhat like such a larger volume, so you have to like again take it a step back.
Yep. Why? Yeah, I guess so. Forum scraping breaks it, but then the moment you get 5 times of the grabbing the data from the API, breaks it again. So then the question becomes, what is? I don't know. It does seem like we are rapidly trending towards where it's a detriment almost on all fronts in some respect, because
I can't really see them like allowing this problem to persist for too long.
Okay.
Because they're selling like stash tabs and premium tabs and such. And so you engage in that system, and you get this, you sell something, and then you get whispered for 20 minutes.
Right.
That's bad.
Yeah. So
and the same thing, like you try and buy something. Well, they have already sold it. That also sucks. So I don't know. I feel like I would assume that they're stressing out over how they solve this. That would be if I was working at GGG, that I would definitely be stressing over that.
Well, I had a funny laugh because I encountered myself a little bit. Here I am playing randomly, and that's right. I found a diviner box. I had not used the new orb that increases the quality, so I did 4 of those, and then I alked, and I think one cast. I got something good. Oh, nice. Okay, and I got 2 of the Combs Roots cards because you only need 2 for the corrupted. Turn it in. I get 4% cast resistance on it.
Okay.
Got to assume it's one of the better ones. I look up, there's a bunch for sale. So I'm like, okay. Yeah. I put it up for 5 casts. He whispered in like 3 minutes, and then I get 6 more whispers. So maybe I underpriced it. But if it's happening with an item like that, there were online maybe 12 to 15. It was interesting. Now my name was highlighted in yellow, which I was like, why is my name on PoE Trade yellow? And apparently it's if you have a level 100 character, your name gets highlighted. I don't know what the point of that is. Maybe that's you're not a bot or something if you have a level 100 character. Maybe. Maybe. That was new to me. But yeah, the part that I found distressing was that, again, and goes not to go crazy, but I actually think that for the most part trading is okay in PoE. It's when the problem takes you out of what's going on. That's the part that I think I really wish was like more of the central discussion about all this stuff. Is it's okay, we can argue how we want to fix it. Maybe auction house is really bad, but it's when you have a negative experience from something that should just be part of the flow of the game.
Yes.
So like I was fine up until I got 5 more whispers, and I was like, what is happening? Right, for selling these boots. And it's the same thing when you're trying to buy something and nobody responds, and you're just like, so what's the point of this entire system? That's the real.
That's kind of what I've been trying to like hone in whenever this discussion comes up. Like, what is the thing that makes people upset? Take that away. Remove that. Remove all the times where you just have to whisper someone 20 times. And what do you think about the trading system then? If every single trade you do is smooth, and the only thing that makes you have a bad experience is an idiot.
Right.
Then we're fine.
Or just the system, or a problem in the system.
Oh yeah. But if there isn't any problems in terms of like actually getting to the person you want to, and maybe he's just a jerk, but you can just ignore him then, or not trade with them anymore, and then move on.
Be those people. Anyway. Right. Yeah. Anyway, it's interesting to me that it has real staying power, the trade sort of things, because I feel like they've in the past they've come up.
Okay.
Almost every league for let's say the last 5-6 leagues, which is maybe the last year and a half, 2 years, something's come up about trade or things or the league being in whatever. And so I'm really sort of curious what 3.1 is going to bring, because I will say from my personal perspective, I actually, if Harbinger had been the way it is now, I think I would have been way more invested in my character.
Okay.
And what was going on. But a couple of the things, I forget what I tried to buy. That's right, because I was minion guy. I tried to buy Fears, and I couldn't buy Fears, whatever day that was, day 2. And I was just whispering at the buyout price, and I just was like, okay, I'm gonna go do something else, because I was pissed off, and I wasn't really enjoying Harbinger. And so I don't want to rehash it too much, but it's interesting to me that they have all these other things going on, right? Xbox is happening. Xbox seems like it's gotten good press in Brazil. This stuff. I kind of doubt that any trade things are going to happen for 3.1. That's kind of my impression, just because that would be a big thing to do, and there's no way they're going to push out something without testing it, or I don't know, right? Because it's such a huge part of the game. Although you could argue maybe it's in Crisis.
Well, how much did they test the MTX before they pushed that out?
I would assume a lot, and it still broke 5 times or whatever.
Well, yeah,
times,
but internally. Yeah. But they didn't push out anything on us. So I don't. Right. So the whole us getting noticed before they push something out doesn't necessarily have to happen.
True. That's true.
So it could come in 3.1. I hope it will. They have been speaking to trade for a long time, and it's like a year ago or something now, more than a year ago, since they started with the first stuff that they wanted to do, and then it just kind of stopped. Yeah, with improvements.
Yeah, waves, right? Waves. We talked about this in a previous podcast, didn't we? Yeah. Waves of trade improvement.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that there's going to be a wave sometime soon. Yeah. Like, the thing is, like, weren't you surprised that they're going to have a new expansion coming out in December? Like, they clearly have a schedule they're following, and then 3.0 probably just set them back a bit on some of them, or they had to push certain things.
Yeah, I do want to say that the Coffee Talk podcast, you and I were sitting here talking about how the schedule has to be, and we were pretty. I mean, I honestly think it was very obvious, but
I think you were more the
alchemist behind the theory there.
Yeah, I think so.
But I still think that's the big deal, is that December release. I think it's going to be their best.
I think it's going to be good. I have a good feeling about it.
If they come up with 3 good ideas, right, and then they rank them 1, 2, 3, we got idea 2 for this league. And idea 1 is being put on the December League. Now, maybe they don't work like that. Maybe they just are going to come up with something. But I feel like just the December League has been the biggest league the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Every time.
It also makes perfect sense to have a great league there, because now they've hooked so many people. What do you do then? You want to give them a great experience in the next release.
Yeah. Right. And then Christmas, it's a time when people get money. I think the last 2 packs I bought, I believe my mom gave me Christmas money, and I was just like, well, I don't even need to spend it on, so I'll buy a pack. And so, yeah, that's. So I hate to put too much hope on that. Now, back to your original question, though. Was I surprised? I think yes. But though, on the other hand, once I examined a little bit what was going on in this league, I wasn't really surprised that a bunch of stuff had to get pushed. Because, I think we're getting...
once you see it, it starts making a little bit of... it starts making sense.
Once you see what?
What's going... this league.
Oh, right. Right. Yeah, exactly. So there's got to be, we definitely got Pantheon beta version. I don't know,
Yeah.
I guess we've talked about it before. I am actually really, well, I guess this is the damned if you do, damned if you don't part of game design very clearly, because if they made Pantheon interesting, there'd be people crying, and most likely me, about how stupid it was that it was just so overpowered, right? And I know we've talked about, though. Well, it can be, right, in certain combinations, but it's nowhere near as powerful as Ascendancy, right?
Well, some of it is close.
You think some of it's close to Ascendancy? You mean on an individual point basis, like 1/8 of your Ascendancy points equals a Pantheon?
It's just once you start stacking certain things, or you immune yourself to this or that, right? There's the new rage this week is the if you've stopped taking damage recently, if you've stopped taking damage over time recently, you'll recover, your life rate recovery increases, so you can get some absurd leech rate going to 60% of the life pool per second. If you're Slayer, you get the 50% in. It's basically a more multiplier. Is how I understood it. At least if it has to be, if it's that strong, then that has to be how it works. So that's kind of crazy. And now we can start, because it puts us over a threshold. Say physical reduction. If you stand still, you get 8% phys reduction, and if there's only one enemy close to you, it's 6% again. That's 14%. And physical mitigation, which is definitely worth an entire node, if you could get that. Right. And then you stack everything else we have in the game, and now you can just face tank every single Shaper Slam, which is what they're doing on Scorching Ray. Like Guardian Scorching Ray, they have so much percent physical mitigation already. They take all these what's it called? The Pantheon nodes, and now you have 40%, 30-40% fizz mitigation on a 12.
As what? And what is their start? Are they a block build, or they're just give as much life as possible?
Yeah, they get 11-12k ES.
Okay.
With Scorching Ray as RF.
Right.
It's what Uberdan was playing.
Okay.
So you basically just you just stand in all the balls, and you face tank every slam, and you're good to go. That's what it enables when you start stacking all the mitigation. So it is very, very powerful. It's just another layer. Morse? Oh no. Morse is back. But no, I don't think that Benji. I don't think they need to make anything.
What was the question?
Do you think GG needs to make something somewhere to sync exalts a bit? I don't mean to complain about our ratios in softcore at the moment. It's very rare to find exalts, and I think it should have maybe at least a bit more usability. Okay, so the thing is, it's the whole well, we could take that right now as a thing to get the conversation going again. Okay, so exalts and standard.
Yeah, my internet went down. Sorry.
Yeah, it's oh, is your
rainy. No, I'm not. I actually have not been having any real problems with my internet in a long time. It's just rainy, so like it could just be.
Oh,
I think this is Hurricane Harvey, like reaching the East Coast. So it could just be, you know.
Okay. So have you been affected by that at all?
No, but can I say PS a little?
Yeah.
Just want to say, I believe Hellman is massively affected by it.
Oh, yes, because I saw that he said he didn't have anywhere to live right now.
Yeah, so it's weird. Like a part of me was like, should I make a, I don't know, like felt not scumbaggy, but I was like, do I make a Reddit thread and be like, let's everyone in the Pee-wee community get together and let's like, I don't know, buy him something for his like weird computer stand wherever he's like at his, apparently I don't even know, he's given us some updates, but I would just assume even if you live down there and you were okay, you're still fucked up because, you know, like it just was crazy. So anyway, I hope he's doing okay. It seems like he says he's not going to stream for a long time because he doesn't know what's going on. So
yeah.
Anyway, well, hopefully as we get more of an update, maybe we can like, I was thinking the Pee-wee community could like, I don't even know. I was trying to think of like buy him some like some floaties for his arms and then something for his laptop or something, you know, like a joke gift, and then something that he could actually use for his streaming. I think he would appreciate that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so sorry. So continue on about exalts.
Okay. So the exalt price on standard has been going down. I think it's throwing a lot of people off, because they're used to having the exalt being
like 120 chaos, basically. Right?
Yeah, or at least, well, it always goes towards 120 in the end of the leagues. Like maybe it's at this point in the league, I think it would sit around 80 chaos. Okay. And now it's down to, I think, 24 5.
Okay.
And I know some people would like to have more things to use it on. Well, at least that's what they're asking about, at least. Like there's all these like conspiracy theories, like, oh, there's price fixers and they're driving down the price and all that, but
yeah,
like, there could be something like that, but I don't know.
Do they think it's anything to do with the fact that Harbinger gives you exalt shards?
Well, I think it has something to do with that. That's part of it. Like you don't really slam for ES gear that much anymore. There's less of a return of investment on that.
Right.
You don't have the 3 slots that you need to put an exalt on for ES.
Yeah.
We probably don't have as many people doing the bow SRS using the where you have to like don't you have to like spend 2x and then you slam and then you take it off again and all that? Like there's probably a little bit less than that.
Right.
And then you have all the shards on top of that. And then you have the chaos cost, like increasing the cost of a chaos.
Because chaos is more valuable for all the other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair. It's interesting. Yeah, well, I think this is such a good example of kind of what we were talking about before, where you see, I don't want to talk about it more. I'm just saying whether you see that the trade system, things function, reasonably well at a certain scale, and obviously the standard league just has so many. I mean, I'd be curious to know how many people are actually playing the Harbinger League on an average day. I don't know if GGG would have to tell us that, but anyway, just enough people that it would severely depress the price. Now, I guess.
Yeah, no, I think so.
The interesting part to me is why wouldn't it keep going down? That's a part
but it's going down right now.
Has it been going down every day? It's gone down.
Yeah, I think it's been going down now because it was really high early on because people had this like residual effect of the previous leagues, right? Where they want to maintain the same price, so
That is an economic term, by the way, sticky price.
Yeah.
So sticky to the previous thing. So, okay. It seems like it's 26 or 27, right?
Yeah. So apparently it's been going down because I've had a lot of people talk to me about, oh, what do you think about the Exalt price going down? Do you know what's going on?
Right.
And I think it's probably just been inevitable. Like how far it's gonna go down is, I don't know. And how, like, will it go down further? No idea. It could just stop here. It could also go down a little further. I don't know.
So it's down 25% in the past 7 days. Wow. And that is insane too. I mean, this is, I find stuff like this very interesting. If you look at PoE Ninja, which I'm hoping, the line is literally a 45-degree angle in the box.
Well, there's probably been a bit of panic as well, right? People see the price crashing, and so they just sell, liquidate.
Yeah. Wow, that's so.
I don't think it's gonna go much lower than this though, just because it does have value. You can actually just, there comes a point where I would definitely just buy exalts at 20 and just use them.
Right.
Like no hesitation.
Well, and also we have, this is not a pure economic thing, because there are outside places where things can happen.
Yes.
So as long as that exists, there's always a floor, because at the moment it hits that floor, it becomes profitable to do those other things.
Yes. That's true. Yes,
that is true. That's why you can, but that's very interesting to me. It does seem like the floor is about 20 chaos in every league, regardless of what it is, because it got down to 18. It was like 17 or 18 chaos in hardcore.
Yeah, a long time ago. Oh, it was down there. Okay.
Or maybe the league before Breach. I don't remember. There was some league where it was very, very cheap, and then people were like, I think it was like right before the ES craze really took off. Yeah. People knew ES was good, which I thought maybe was, I don't know. It's tough to, things run together, but, and then it shot up to being, 28, 30, and then just it kept creeping up the rest of the league a little bit. And it is very interesting how, when you see people talk about why they prefer hardcore over softcore when it comes to trading, because it does seem like it's just, you have less of this sort of crazy volatility that goes on in standard when it comes to this type of stuff. And so maybe one more sync would be good for something. Although I guess
but the thing is, it has value there. It always has. Like, we just got more things to use it on, and now we're kind of like, well, these aren't as valuable anymore. A lot of the master crafting stuff and all that, but you can still mastercraft, and all it takes is some video. Like, this is literally all it takes. It takes one guy making a video about how OP and how much money he's making on mastercrafting, and then everyone wants to do that, and then it just goes the exact opposite way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but this is, it's funny, as much people would criticize this goes on in real life too. I mean, like, I would almost sell my child or one of my balls to have a Tesla car, but there is no justification for the actual price of the Tesla stock. Now, of course, there is justification because the market sets the price, so therefore it is justified. But I mean, I'm just saying, if you weren't banking on you're like, Elon Musk is an evil genius who 50-50, he's going to take over the world, or save our planet. And that's basically, the stock price reflects that, right? There's no anything. And then you have something like Amazon, where I mean, so I'm older than a lot of people. My parents both worked on Wall Street, and I can just remember my mom being like, don't ever try to invest in single stock, because you don't know. She worked on Wall Street. She saw insider trading, all this stuff. You don't know all this stuff. And it's interesting. It occurs in PoE too. And you're like, why are journeyman cartographer sextants up 100% in the past week? I mean, that's not what happened, but as an example, unless you knew the thing that was going on, you'd have no idea. So it's like when GCPs were artificially cheap, and people didn't understand why, what was going on with that. Well, it turns out because they were finding these boxes, or why was there so many 20 quality jewels up for gems, up for sale. Well, it turns out there was a recipe that only like 10 people knew about, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So anyway, the point being, it's just,
I think that,
interesting.
I don't know, I think as a PoE player, one should really embrace like that things are not set in stone. Yes. I think that's something you have to come to terms with. Like the currencies are a fluid thing. They will go up and down depending on the meta of the game, and things will go in and out and all these kind of things, and just, I don't know, get used to it. That's really what I don't stress too much over it. Like don't get too fixated of what you think things should be worth, because that will it just changes depending on what is popular and what is actually good.
And of course the problem is, and I think people don't want to hear this, but if you're somebody who's speculating on currency to make money, part of that is risk, right? And there's never a perfect model for understanding all this stuff, but that's the point. You make money in the long run, quote unquote, because you understand there's a risk involved, and sometimes you're going to lose your shirt if you're doing this type of stuff. So, I mean, I know for me, I tend to I just try to have enough currency to do whatever I want to do and to pay for stuff. You know what I mean? It's not about, I'm not trying to get rich off currency flipping. And I know there are people who do that, but I think that's fine. Let them let them do that, and you just whatever. And I mean, the interesting part is, as Nugi's saying, if the price keeps going down, at some point, for whatever reason, people will start buying and hoarding them, and then the price will start going up. Yeah, because those people are not selling them. And those people who are smarter than you are going to make money either way, right? Because if you have enough money in PoE and you're just like, well, exalts are really down, but I know they're valuable, I'm just going to buy 10 of them, and then they, no,
something I'll just do that. That's something I know, that if I see that the exalt price goes to a certain level where I just instinctively know that, okay, that's nothing compared to what I can use it on. Like, let's say I spend 20k for the chance of hitting like a T1 suffix or prefix, and then I know that my item will then sell for like 10 times as much. Yeah. Because now it's the best item out there of certain thing, then well, I'll just buy them and like kind of take the risk. Yeah, and it's interesting. I actually think this in a nutshell is why I'm so upset about the trading problems and why I want a currency auction house, because I actually think that's one of the best parts of PoE is all these little fun things you can do. Like if I was crafting the claw, and so every time I hit a claw that was a solid A- claw, when I was trying to craft an A to an A+ claw, if I got lucky, I could sell that for a reasonable. Now, would I, in that scenario, because this was in hardcore, not softcore, I think it's easier to craft in many respects than softcore if you're trying to craft a perfect item, because that's what everyone's trying to do. So, and there's way more alts and stuff for sale, but that's a lot of fun to me, and I think more people would get into it if it was a little easier to sort of do all this stuff. Like, oh, I want to vol Montragle's grasps for whatever reason you want to vol them, right? And so if it's easy to buy them and easy to buy vols, you can go down and do that, do that type of thing. And then someone would say, well, if you do that and then it wrecks the market for it, and then all of a sudden they're worth a lot more. Well, that's okay. That's how things are supposed to. Yeah. That's how it's supposed to work. Instead, we have sort of like I have this happen to me every league. I decide on one specific item that I just see, okay, this is less than a chaos to buy. I start buying every single one of them, and eventually I buy up the entire market or the entire available market, and they start being two chaos per. Like, well, okay, now it's not worth it to me anymore, and I stop.
Yeah. Yes. No, I think I've with Stone of Lazarus in the past, trying to get the block on them.
Oh yeah.
And what all the other things like that. I'm just like, okay, I'm going to try to buy every single one that's out there. Now, I guess that's the argument against the auction house, right? Because then anyone, I don't know. I just don't think it's a problem, but fine.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing. I think it's healthy. I think it's good that we don't have these like set values and everything being the same all the time. It makes the game a little more dynamic to play.
Yeah, yeah.
And makes trading interesting.
I would say don't worry about it. And and the other thing is hold on to your exalts. Like if you bought them at 30 chaos because you're like, wow, I can't go any cheaper. it's, you know, we got to be near the bottom anyway. So
Yeah.
and if you're buying them to flip, well, then you just have to accept that money is sunk for now. And then if you were like, well, I might use them at some point, well, then you still have it still exists, right? It still has its own, it does its thing. Yeah, I actually, so, you know, while we're on that subject, I still really, I kind of want them to either make mirrors more common or maybe bring back Eternals.
Really?
Yeah, I think one of the two things. Well, okay, so maybe if they made Eternals more common, drop, they had to make mirrors rarer.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I don't think Eternals are. I don't like Eternals.
Okay.
As no, I think because they have this like side effect of making, because you know it's a sure thing if you use Eternals. You feel like you're doing the wrong thing with your currency if you're not Eternaling at some point.
Okay.
And it gives like, the psychological effect of the Eternal being in the game is something I don't personally enjoy. And I think that matters as well.
So do you like annulments then?
Yeah,
they're really good. Okay,
yeah,
that's the better type of gambling. You find
yes, I do.
Flawed and you annul it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the annulment orb I think is really cool. We're already seeing some really amazing items being made out of that. Like you remove that one poopy suffix or prefix, and then all of a sudden you can, because you remove that one thing, you can scour off suffix or whatever, and you slam on all the rest, and then now you have your 450 one-hander DPS thing with crit and attack speed.
See, now I'd be thrilled with annulments and Eternals being in and Masters being removed, but I can already hear people being like, "We know you hate Masters."
But annulments are very fun.
What's very fun? Annulments?
Yeah, I like the annulment orb a lot more than Eternals. Because Eternals, I don't know, you use that Eternal and it's just whenever it's gone, like there's not, I don't know, with the annulment it's like and then you have to get another one, and it becomes such a tedious experience. Annulment is like, okay, either it hits or it doesn't.
Right, that's true. What was I going to say? The interesting part, I think one big thing against Eternal Orbs is it concentrates power in people, like you're saying, because because you're right. At a certain point, it becomes you'd be stupid not to. But then at the moment you can start doing that, it's not a guarantee, but it's pretty close to a guarantee that you'll have something that will pay back its investment. Right, because of mirror of the people have to pay 15x to mirror your perfect claw or whatever the fuck. So. Yeah, no, I mean, there's definitely, I'm not like, this is not something that's my hill I'm going to die on, where I need Eternals back. I'm just saying I like when there's all these sort of things going on. And that's one thing, I was actually surprised that they introduced annulment, because they had talked about how they weren't sure that they were ever going to introduce something like that. Because I think annulment, and then the other thing people have always requested is that you find a perfect level 1 axe.
Oh, and then you could divide within all the different tiers?
No. That you can take the stats on the boarding axe, which I think is the literally character level 11 axe, and put it on a siege axe, a level 68 item. Is what I'm saying. So they'll never do that, because that would be too. That'd be ridiculous. But,
so you find all the high stats and you transfer over the stats.
Yeah. So, but I think those are the two things I've seen people request that are sort of out there currency, and I actually think the annulment seems like it's worked out pretty well. They seem a little too common, I would have said, but
Which
maybe
ones?
Because annulments seem a little too common. Maybe I'm just seeing successes on Reddit. You know, people are using them all the time and bricking items all the time. So
I removed 96 life from my belt today. That was great.
Oh, okay. You're like, great. That's awesome. Yeah.
Now I can slam it.
Yeah. So I'm hoping. The problem with it, though, I want to say, we'll have to keep everything else around to have annulments around. I wonder if they will would they pick a currency out, be like, let's introduce this as a currency in the actual game, or do we have to keep all of Harbinger around in order to
Ooh, that I don't think it's gonna happen. That would be that would be odd.
Wait, to pick the currency out or to keep Harbinger around?
No, to keep Harbinger.
Yeah, but I think a couple of the currencies from Harbinger have been successful. So the question is, would annulments drop whole, but at a much reduced, drop at the same rate as a chaos or something, or or whatever the hell, 2 times as rare as a chaos, or would
maybe there's a way that we can unlock beachheads, and that could be more of a thing to run.
Okay.
Because beachheads always have all the harbingers, so you can enter the beachhead. Or maybe it just becomes it could also just be a cheap Sana mod, and you run the harbinger with it spawns 4 packs of harbingers in there, or 3, and then that's actually always a return on investment, right? Because then you're guaranteed some shards. Then that actually would make it feel a lot better to get harbingers and kill them, because you're investing your chaos and you convert them into annulments and all that kind of stuff.
Yep. I did see a thread about how people chaining beachhead maps reminded them of ball runs. Yeah. So I think that's a good thing.
Yes.
I think
that's a good thing to have.
Yeah. Because what is beachhead? Is it an 84 map or 82
80.
map? 80. Okay.
2. It's a 15. So yes, that's an 82.
Oh,
because Guardian is 83. Yeah.
Right, because I thought I got some 84s out of it.
You do.
One of them. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So I would say don't panic about the Exalt things. Yeah. Something happens every league with something. I would have said either going up or going down. I guess it's more typical that it goes up for standard than crashes.
Yeah, because most of the time we get things added into the game where you can use more power. Like it's been more of the case that things have been added, not taken away, and now they took a lot of stuff away, a lot of the power.
Yep.
Which devalues the orb.
Yeah. Because what can you spend an Exalt on for master? What, like, that's not the meta crafting. Is there anything anymore? Were those the only 3? The ES, the armor, evasion.
No, armor, evasion. Oh, was that an Exalt as well? Oh, it might have been. Yeah. All that is chaos now.
Okay.
And yeah, so the rest is meta crafting.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess it does make sense that they would be, devalued a little bit. But then again, right, like as Nugi was saying, you get down to that point, you can start buying some item and or alting and then slamming.
Yeah.
If it's cheap enough.
And meta crafting, like once people realize how powerful that is, as long as if the Exalt is low, then like meta crafting is really good.
Yeah.
Because all it will take you then is you run your alterations until you run the what's it called, the merciless or whatever. You regal that thing, and then there's a 50-50 every time. Just on that, say, if you annulment and you hit the right one, and then you can metacraft, metamod everything else on there. You have your weapon.
So I meant to ask you, changing topics a little bit. You're running specters now on your build, right?
Yeah.
You said. What do you think about the fact that you log out and specters go kaputski? Because I think that's been on the list of like persistently asked for things.
You see, it's the whole Spectre thing is in such a weird place. Like I can't, because if you do one thing, it'll just, I don't know. I think there is something about going in and finding the specters and raising them for your army and all that. I think there's a charm to that. I am running Pledge of Hands though, so I echo everything, so it's super annoying. Every time I have to cast a Spectre, generate a Spectre, I have to like DD every single one around I don't want, and then I Spectre that one, so it gets a little bit tedious. But I do actually enjoy knowing where to find the Spectres, knowing how to like raise your army and all that. It would be nice to have to make it a little less tedious. I would like something that you could then, you would take something like a Lyra, and as a summoner you would form a little bond with her, so you could have her store some of your specimens, so that next time you come back you don't have to go to the Solaris Temple. You have a specimen ready. You take that, you summon the lower level one, you still have to go into the map and then increase the level and all that kind of stuff, but just have it being a little less tedious, and maybe add some interaction with a Lyra, because it makes sense, right? She's the necromancer, you're the necromancer, and you have all this bond together, and wow. And then maintain this like raising of your enemy to become your minion. I think there's something about that makes it interesting to be the Specter style. Persistent through logout though, because like this could also just be on death, right? If they die and you can get them back easily again. But
I thought if you die you keep them now.
Oh, if you die? Or on standard?
I'm pretty sure you keep.
Oh, that I don't know. Maybe you do.
Wait,
oh, when I play hardcore, I don't know.
I
never tried it.
I think that's something that has changed. Not 100%, but
okay.
That's what I recall.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think I would have done something more with Spectres.
Yeah.
If not for all it seems like potential pitfalls to it.
Yeah. It's because I don't want to ruin that experience, because you can make it you can make it easy. Like you can, or they could probably make it easy to like just maintain your specters and just you summon them, and it's always the same specter you summon and all that. But right. It would also take away from the game. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think they should do too much in terms of making it easier. I think there's a charm to it, having to go into the higher maps and all that. One thing I think it's really weird though is how they downscale.
You mean how the minions downscale?
Yeah.
Or you mean I'm not. What do you mean?
Okay, so let's say that I pick my 84 specters in or 83 specters in the Guardian map, and then I go do Brutus in Act 1. My specters can't, like, they take like 4 shots to kill him in Act 1 in a level 9 zone.
Oh right, yes, that's right. There's a reason for that, I guess. Is that anti-botting?
Well, maybe I could also like, okay, let's say if you get 83 specters, they shit on like 78 content. Okay. Like they're absurd. So there could be, they just might scale too well going up in tiers, so they have to like maintain it of a certain tier. I don't know. I would love to know the reasoning behind it, like the real reason why we can't have it otherwise. But it does seem weird, because like, why are we restricting power on summoners or specters but not on everything else? Because you can just like, if I have my bow that does 100k in one hit, well, if I go and hit Brutus with that, I kill him 20 times over.
Right.
And so why can you do that? It's kind of weird that it works like that, and I would like to know why.
I wonder if is that something they instituted after the burning miscreants issue?
I don't know.
I don't remember when that change came in. Yeah, it's interesting. Anyway, I feel bad for people who they love playing specters, they love playing minions, and this is something they've been requesting for forever and ever, and it feels like it's. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. It shouldn't be too easy.
Yeah,
we want to avoid that. But then on the other hand, it does feel like you can be very, I don't know. You spent 2 hours getting your minions, and then you DC. Like you're like, okay, kill me. I guess. I don't know what the answer is to that.
Well, there's a long post on why they don't. Okay, I'll read this after. It's quite a long post by Mark. I'll link you to it as well.
Oh, on why they don't allow persistent specters?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I've never been a minion guy before, so I've never looked into these issues. But I think it does have to do with like how they scale and how much more powerful they become, like at certain levels, versus it's the same thing. Like look at something like DD. DD can't do the same amount. You can't allow it to do the same amount of damage versus an 83, or versus a 72 monster that it will do against an 83. So there has to be some scaling there. Otherwise, it's just, I don't know. You can take too much of its power and apply it at a lower level.
Right. It does feel though like that at a certain point, the thing. I mean, I guess that's the point of the builds, though. Right? The minions become unkillable. Like, I forget what the golems were. 26. Remember my flame golems, or 25? They just.
No, I was doing a couple guardians today. I was doing Minotaur, and I did not see my Spectre's health move, and they were just face tanking him. Kind of speaks to how powerful they are.
Yeah. So, I mean, maybe that's the argument for why that you have to go through all this rigmarole to get them going, because when they are going, they poop on content. Yeah, and I mean, it does feel like every time there's an expansion with new monsters added, we go through. There's 3 or 4 that are clearly OP, and each of them in turn gets nerfed down the Specter list. So I'm fully expecting for 3.1 there to be a monster that people weren't using, and it's like, oh well, if you put multi-strike and all this melee shit with, these stupid minions that people disregarded, their actual hits are very hard. So then if you do that, they just poop on. You get 5 of them. And shit on everything. So it's I mean, I think it's key that the amount of effort required is proportional in some respect to what you're getting out of it. It's just to avoid the annoyance part. Like maybe you keep one Specter, right? No matter.
I think because the key part here is that you can't allow players to have too powerful, like the levels of the Spectres can't be obtained like through the master, but the Spectre itself, right? Just removing the first step of having to go to a low zone to grab your Spectre.
I see what you're saying.
And you just store that. You store that like specimen, and you can get a low level one, and then you can like start your Spectre stuff through that. Yeah.
Okay. I think that's a fair sort of compromise. Yeah. Something where it's I think that's fair. I know people have been asking for it for forever and ever and ever. Yeah. Well, I think that's. I don't know if there was any other big topics this week that came out.
No, I couldn't really. I've been like looking here and there to see if there's something important to talk about. I think the most what do you call it? The most pressing one that people have been asking about was the Exalt stuff.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting. I mean, I do think that GGG, I wouldn't say like it, but I think that they're fine with whatever goes on. That's why there has never been a set exchange price anywhere. Yeah. Right.
I like it personally. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah. I think it teaches everyone a valuable lesson to never be, as I was saying, never be invested in one stock. You have no idea what's going on. So always make sure you have tons of currency, whatever you need. And it's why when somebody is like, "Hey, Moors, I see you have 400 chromes. Would you want to sell some of them to me?" My answer is always no, because I know how hard it is to go into the market and buy chromes.
Yes.
And so when I need them, I don't want to fucking deal with it. Even though I could convert all of my random currency to chaos, then at some point when I need the fucking thing, I got to go back and do it again. So, yeah. So, I'm actually curious what's going on with the currency tab, just as like a random aside. I guess that was to make room for things, but when I logged in, I hadn't been in since they changed the size of it.
Oh.
They purchased currency tab. So now it's this much. You're zoomed out 50% or something. So
yeah, but that's because they need to like have more things listed next to each other.
Right.
I think.
Is this a harbinger of things to come in terms of? I hope I triggered some people, but is this a harbinger of things to come in terms of? Are we going to get more currency? Is every league going to introduce currency? Because
it's just going to get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller.
My God. Yeah, I really think they should go back to. I feel like the breach was the perfect model. As I more and more as I reflect on things. There was you had interesting zones. There were fights. You felt like it was worth it. There was, yes, a little bit of new currency, but not that much. And it was usually, and I like the idea that every breach was one drop of currency. If that makes sense. So it takes up only one slot in your inventory.
Well,
versus I kill a Harbinger and I got 68 pieces of garbage in my, And I was, at the time in Breach, I was a little annoyed about it because I kept, every time I was in a breach, I would say, make a mess and clean it up because there'd just be shit everywhere and you have to figure it all out. But in terms of currency, I thought the currency was pretty good. I think Breach dropped too many items. And I think that's one. I actually wish they would just nerf the drop rate of Breach and have Breach be more common. You know what I mean? If that, like, I think they went the other way. They made Breach less common, didn't change anything about it. Right. I don't
know. I enjoy the power every time I open a breach. The feel of it. That's true. Yeah. So I think I would rather maintain that. I love it every time I get a breach in the map. It's like, yay! I get so happy.
So I think that's, hopefully they take that on board in terms of that level of currency and feel, because nowadays when I've done some of the harbingers, and it's like, okay, they're faster. You interact with them pretty quickly. There's 3 or 4 of them at every map, it sort of seems like. So that part's pretty good. And if they just had cut the currency shards in half, I think it would have been. Although I guess they drop as groups now more frequently than they did, the pieces of shards.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so.
So they did some good changes with that. So yeah, okay. Well, thank you very much for the podcast. Sorry about the little. We had a little Spectrum gift from Time Warner Cable, now Spectrum, to everyone here at the stream. It was just a little gift. They just wanted to say, hey, you haven't really had any internet problems in like 6 or 8 months. We're just going to remind you that we're still the only people you can get internet from. So, you better you better pay us. So, good times. So, yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Noogie.
Thank you, Morris.
Yeah.
And to lead us out?
What did you say?
And to lead us out, where can we...
Oh, to lead us out, yes. I heard, like... What did I heard, like, Toledo's... Like, Lita's being a name... I don't know. That was weird. My brain was like, what just happened? Anyway, you can find the podcast, if you're so inclined, at thecoffeetalkpodcast.com. And you can subscribe and RSS and all those things. And then the podcast will be uploaded on Noogie's YouTube. Labor Day in America tomorrow.
Labor Day, wow, okay.
Labor Day,
that's crazy.
And your YouTube is?
It is YouTube/nugiyen.
Yeah.
And Morse? You can be found...
Twitch TV/MooresRageNG. And I will be streaming a very big poker tournament today. $500 buy-in. So I'm very excited about it.
And you're a participant. Oh. I was being told earlier today that you were a gambler. How do you respond?
Oh, absolutely.
You are a gambler.
Okay. Yeah. Been for a long time. And that's why I choose to reside in America. Literally the only first world country, second world, or third world country that you cannot gamble in online. It's good times. It's worked out really well for those of us who like to partake in online poker. So yeah, hopefully. Maybe we'll get some changes in the future. I'm not holding my breath, but I can hope. Hope we get some.
Well, I wish you good fortune.
Thank you, sir. Take it easy.
You too.